Hello, and welcome to Thomas Library at Wittenberg University. My name is Elisa Mijakar, and I am the Science Librarian here at Wittenberg. Today we'll be talking about using Biosis previews to find journal articles in the broad area of biology. Starting from the Thomas Library webpage, we will go to Find Information and come down to All Databases. This will open a list of all the databases to which we subscribe. In the Browse by Subject box, we will click on the down arrow and scroll down to biology to see the top resources in the field of biology. So Biosis Previews Biological Abstracts is where we'll be focusing our time today. Biosis Previews is a broad database that covers all aspects of biology, everything from genetics to environmental science to evolution, all areas of biology. Medline is another top resource in biology. Medline, however, is mostly clinical medical literature. Below are listed other useful resources in the field, so depending on what area of biology you are interested in, there may be other databases here for you to try. Let's select Biosis Previews. This opens a basic search screen for us. So let's say we want to know more about selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and this is our topic. From this screen, we can search a variety of areas. If we know a particular author, we can search for that author. If we know a publication name, we can search for that, so forth and so on. Right now, though, I think we just want to focus on topic, which in some databases is called keyword searching. So we're going to add our keyword, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And we're going to put this in quotation marks. What this will do is search for that as an exact phrase. So instead of searching for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor all as separate words, if I put it in quotation marks, it's going to look for that exact phrase. Now, at this point, I want to add another field. Some people use SSRI as another term for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It's an abbreviation. So some articles will talk about selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Some articles will talk about SSRIs. I want to make sure that I get all of those articles. So I am in the little box with the Boolean operators. I am going to select the OR because that will find articles that contain either one. So that's going to broaden my search just a little bit. So I'm going to click on search. And so here I get a list of 7,758 articles covering all aspects of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So I probably don't want to look through all 7,758 of these. What I want to do is I want to refine my results. So on the left, we see where we can refine our results. And in this little box it says search within results for, I want to put in autism. Now, I'm not actually going to put in autism. What I'm actually going to put in is autis with an asterisk. And you can find the asterisk on your keyboard by clicking on Shift 8. So when I search for AUTIS asterisk, what I will find is I will find the word autism, but I will also find autistic and any other word that starts with AUTIS. So the asterisk is sort of a wild card or truncation symbol. It finds any ending to that word. So let's click on the search button. And that gets me down to 104. So let's look at some of these. Let's look at number 2. Maternal SSRI discontinuation, use, psychiatric disorder, and the risk of autism in children, a meta-analysis of cohort studies. Now, this looks like an interesting article, and it's recent. It's from December 2017. But when I see meta-analysis of cohort studies, this leads me to think that this is a review article. And if you've already watched the video on using Medline, we know that a review article is not original research, but it is a review of the literature. And so the authors have done a literature review and read all of these articles and gleaned the most important information from those articles and summarized it and synthesized it into one article. Now, again, it's not original research, but it's very good source for background information. And there will be a long list of references at the end of that article, which would be original resources that we would also be able to use for our paper or our project. So I'm going to keep going. Since that's a review article, I want to look to see if I can find something that is a research article. So number 6 looks like it might be good. Differential effects of perinatal exposure to antidepressants on learning and memory, acoustic startle, anxiety, and open field activity in Sprague dolly rats. So this sounds like it could be useful. This sounds like they're doing an actual experiment. So let's click on that to get some more information. So here we have a record for this article. We have the title, we have the authors. We know that it appears in the International Journal of Developmental Neuroscience. It's from October 2017, so it's relatively recent. And it gives us an abstract. So this is a summary of what this article is about. This tells us that they are doing research on selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors in pregnant rats, and then they're analyzing the pups of these rats to see if they elicit any kinds of symptoms that would be synonymous with autism in humans. So this looks like it might be a really good thing to look at. Now, unfortunately, in Biosis previews, there is no full text. However, you can often get to the full text by clicking on the Find It button. So if we click the Find It button, we see the full text finder results. And it says we can get the full text of this article through Ohio Link Electronic Journal Center. So great, let's click on that and see if we can get to the full text. So here's the record for this article in the Electronic Journal Center. It gives us some more information about this article. Now, if you want to get back to this article, you want to make sure that you copy this permalink down somewhere. And often I suggest just copy and paste the whole citation and the permalink into an email, into a Word document, somewhere where you can get back to this. And that way you will be able to always get back to this article. You will always be able to get back to the full text. The full text in this case is over on the left. And I'm going to close this bar on the left so that we can get a little better look at this article. So this looks like a pretty standard research article. It gives us an abstract, again, a summary of what they did, introduction, background about the article, why is this research important. You'll notice down here that we see that this article was received February 15th, 2017, received in revised form 26 May, and accepted June 21st of 2017. What that means is this article has undergone a peer review process. So other scholars in the field have read this article and decided that this article was done well and was worthy of publication. So if we scroll down, we see other characteristics of a research article. We have materials and methods. They talk about the animals they're using, what they're doing to the animals, all those sorts of things. Now, as we scroll through, we will see more information about how they did their research, charts and graphs explaining their research and their results. If we scroll down to the very, very bottom, we do have a long list of references. Now, the great thing about this particular full text is a lot of these articles are linked. So a lot of these, if you decided you really wanted to look at some of these other articles, you'd just have to follow the link and hopefully we would be able to get to the full text. Now, if for some reason the full text doesn't work or the link doesn't work, let us know. We might be able to get the full text through another means. Okay, let's return to our search results. Okay, so back to our search result list. One thing that is unique about this database that you don't see in other databases is it will tell you how many people have cited this article. So let's look at number 7, maternal SSRI exposure increases the risk of autistic offspring, a meta-analysis and systematic review. Again, it's a meta-analysis and systematic review, so it's again a review article. We click on it, and then over on the right, it's been cited 3 times in this database. So 3 other articles in this database cite this article in their list of references, which is pretty good considering this article was only published in September of last year. So if we click on that, it will show us the 3 articles that have cited that article. So these would be newer articles that have been published since then that are citing the article that we just looked at. So this is, again, a great place to find more information on your topic. What's been done more recently? Occasionally you do see a full text link to a publisher if the full text is available for free on the internet. There may be a link there. Let's go back again to our list. Another thing in this database, this is everyone who has cited this article, and down below is everyone this article cites. So if you wanted to see everyone who cited this article, but for some reason didn't want to look at the full text of the article, or this might be an easier way to try to find some of these articles, that is another option available to you. If ever you come across an article that you can't find, please contact the library and we will help you get it from another library through interlibrary loan. So this is a pretty quick overview of Biosis previews. If you have any questions, please let me know. My name and contact information are on the screen. I can be reached at 937-327-7515. That's my work number. I can also be reached via email at amizikar@wittenberg.edu. Thank you and have a great day.